What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we are talking about The Spice is Right and the Pilot Custom 74. Do you like strong cinnamon flavors? Like really strong cinnamon flavors? Because if you do, then this tea is for you. I picked up a little sample packet from David's Tea a couple weeks back. It's called The Spice is Right. It has organic cinnamon, green tea, orange peel, cloves, and chili powder. That's it. That's all that's in here. And it tastes like cinnamon. That's pretty much all you're going to taste. You brew it like you would any green tea. So you put about 1.5 teaspoons into your cup that's been boiled to 85 degrees Celsius or 184 degrees Fahrenheit. And you leave it to steep for about 3 to 4 minutes. Benefit to this one is it is green tea, so it does have very low caffeine. This was actually $1 to buy because it's only 20 grams of tea. But I also got it when it was like half off, so it's like $2 normally. And it came in a really cute stocking. It was from like the winter collection that people were buying. That obviously nobody bought this one, so that's why I got it for $1. And I'm glad I didn't really pay too much more because I don't care for it. The first initial sip, the first 2 sips are actually pretty good. But beyond that, all you taste is cinnamon, and it's just like cinnamon overload. But if that's something that appeals to you, then definitely check that out because there's no other tasting notes that I can pick up on. It's pretty much just cinnamon. And even when you open it and you take a look at what's in here, basically all you're going to see is a little bit of green tea and then all those brown bits, which I just dropped a little bit, is just ground up cinnamon. Cinnamon sticks, that's it. So if you like cinnamon, go for this. Wasn't a favorite of mine, but I'll definitely drink it. But what is one of the favorites of mine is this pen right here. This is the Pilot Custom 74. This is obviously the demonstrator model. And I'm going to move in a little bit closer just for you to see. Takes about 1 3/4 turns to open up the screw cap. And if we undo this, right now this is filled with Noodler's Army Green, so that's why it looks like it's just a completely black stick. But this is the Pilot Con 70 converter, one of the only pens that this converter will actually fit. So it has a pretty big ink capacity in comparison to the rest. The only downside to it is that because it's button filled, it's kind of hard to clean out. So that's a slight negative, but you can always use the Pilot Con 50, the new Con 40, the Con 20 fits in here. So you don't have to use the Con 70 if you don't want to. I just chose to because that's what comes with the pen. So that's why I wanted to show you guys. There's a lot to love about this pen, a lot to love. The nib, it's 14 karat gold nib, very, very smooth. Holds lots of ink. I have the fine nib, so it is a very fine nib. It's going to be more similar to an extra fine. If you're using like a Lamy pen or any kind of European pen, this is like a Japanese pen, so that line is very fine. It's a little too fine for me. I bought this about a year ago when all I wanted was extra fines and fines. Now I'm starting to appreciate more mediums and broads. So this is now a little too fine for me, but that's just my personal preference. The nib itself is amazing. Like I said, it's very smooth, very springy nib. The clip, you can hear that, definitely has some tension to it, but isn't enough to like ruin your pants or anything like that. When you slip the pen into your pocket. That's not something I've ever really done, so I don't know for a lot of people like that do, like, you know, how many times you can clip and unclip a pen before it will make a mark on like jeans or anything like that. But to me, it seems like it would be a good clip. I like the design of it. It's very simple. Like I said, I have a clear one, so you're not gonna get to appreciate as much of the design because you're actually seeing all the parts of the inner pen. The only thing I would change about this is that on the inner side of the cap, it's kind of got a smoky inner seal. I would like that to be completely transparent. Either that, or I would change I wouldn't get the clear demonstrator. You can get a smoky demonstrator that's the exact same color as that cap. So then everything would match. So one of the above. I would either want this to be completely clear, or I would purchase the smoky demonstrator instead. So that would really be the only thing design-wise that I would change. Other than that, it's very simple. It's not flashy, it's not really anything, so you could really use this anywhere. And I really like the center band. Again, it's just very simple, very classic, in my opinion. There's a bunch of different finishes that you can get, so you don't just have to get this one. So you got kind of nice variety. It's a good size for me. Again, I don't post pretty much any of my pens, and I don't need to. This one fits in my hand very nicely, but you can post it. It's just push to post. Because my hands are a little bit smaller, it does become back heavy when I post it. But for those of you with larger hands, men in particular, posting it, I would imagine, would be perfectly comfortable for you. And it's a good price, actually, for this pen. American pricing is $160, which, considering it's a gold nib, is pretty awesome, in my opinion. Canadian prices can get a little high. If you convert the dollar, it works out to about $230. But if you're willing to buy overseas, like Japan direct, then you're going to be able to save a lot more there. I won't quote anything. You can kind of do your own research on that, but definitely take a look. So yeah, everything, I mean, I really enjoy. The grip is a little bit small, this grip section here. My fingers just barely make it in. So if you do have larger hands, then you're going to probably end up holding it back farther on the threads. You can hear them if I put my nail to it, but they're super, super smooth. You're not really going to feel them. My thumb tends to rest on the threads, just because when I hold my pen, my thumb always seems to fit farther back on the pen. But it doesn't bother me. I don't feel them. I've used this pen for very long writing sessions before, and I've never had an issue with it. Never had a hard start, never had a skip, never had anything with this. It's always been a very solid and reliable pen. The only thing that I would mention is a slight negative to this, is that on the upstroke, it's a little bit dry, and you'll see that in the writing sample in a minute. Downstrokes, side strokes, they're actually quite juicy for a fine nib, as fine as this is, but on the upstroke it can be a little bit dry. But at the end of the day, absolutely I would recommend this. Go check it out. So it's a very smooth nib. What I like is that even though it is such a fine nib, you can definitely see shading because it's a little drier on the upstroke than it is on the downstroke. It's actually pretty dry on the up, but I kind of actually like that. This is Noodler's Army Green ink in here, and I like that it's a little bit drier on the upstroke because then you can actually see good shading in inks that don't naturally have shading. This nib is a 14 karat gold nib, so you can actually get some pretty good line variation from it. It's not a flex nib whatsoever, so I would not push it. Like, I wouldn't use it as a flex pen or anything like that. But if, duty calls and you absolutely need it, there's certainly a lot of variation that you can use. As far as reverse writing goes, you can do it. It'll go pretty far for you as well, but it's going to be very, very dry, but surprisingly very smooth. It is not scratchy at all like you would normally suspect when doing that. But because this is such a fine nib, I don't know why you would want to, but that's just my opinion. It's there if you need it. Like I said, as far as the wetness goes, it's a pretty wet writer, especially for being so fine. Never any skips, never any hard starts, no matter how much I've pushed it. Like I said, I've had this for about a year. And the seal on the inner cap is pretty dang good too. I've left this sitting for quite a while, and it still starts up with no issues. Like I said, the only thing is that it's a little bit dry on the upstroke. But for me, I've actually made that work, like I said, just because of the shading. But I would give this, honestly, like a 9 out of 10, this pen. There's a few things that I've spoken about that I would change, but really that's just being nitpicky. I really enjoy it. Pick it up if you can get a hold of it, because you will not be disappointed. But guys, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit that subscribe button. There will be new videos every Monday and Friday. Hit that thumbs up if you super liked it. And as always, don't be afraid to leave a comment, question, or concern in the comment section below, as I do answer them all. Awesome, guys. Thanks. See you next time.